As a result of our latest podcast with the 2025 Missing Middle Conference organizers, the Unpacked show has decided to give away one free ticket. The organizers were so excited for this offer that they decided to double it. That means Unpacked will be giving away 3 free tickets to the 2025 Missing Middle Conference on September 12th.
So grab your phones and scan that QR code. It will direct you to our official giveaway entry form. Fill in your full name and email address. That's it, and you're in the draw. Only 3 winners will be selected, but all participants in the draw will get a thank you email with a 10% Unpacked discount code for the conference. So even if you don't win a free ticket, you'll still get an opportunity for a 10% discount.
We'll be announcing the winners live on Tuesday, September 9th at 8 p.m. All those that are registered will be notified in advance. This is your opportunity to be part of the 2025 Missing Middle Conference. We'll see you there. Cool. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Real Estate News Unpacked. I'm your co-host, Marcel, alongside Ronald, and we've got special guests here today. We are talking to the founders of the Missing Middle Conference 2025, Karthik and Jimmy. We have a third partner that couldn't join us today. That's Dave, but that's okay. Today on Unpacked, we're going to hear all about this conference. We're going to hear about the vision behind this conference, why it matters, and what these guys are up to at SDG Group. Very exciting stuff. Join us here all today on Real Estate News Unpacked. Please be advised that the information presented herein is for educational purposes only. It is strongly recommended that listeners should seek guidance from qualified paid professionals of their choosing before acting upon any information or materials discussed.
So I was born and raised in Toronto. I love Toronto. Health and fitness has always been my passion. So leading into this career, I'll tell you about my previous career. So I worked at Good Life Fitness for about a dozen years. Started off by selling memberships, and because health and fitness is my passion, it was very easy for me to do that. Get people in, work out with them, then they sign up. It was fantastic. Life was great. So they promoted me because I was doing such a good job. It allowed me to train other people and manage clubs, about 7 clubs within 12 years. And it was a fantastic career. During that time, I knew I wanted to do something more. I always wanted to do something more. So I knew it was in real estate, but I didn't know what. Took my money, started investing in pre-construction condos, pre-construction single-family homes, rented them out short-term and long-term, dealt with the tenants. Most of them were good, some of them not so much, but it gave me that confidence to lead my career, my cushy career. So that was about 5 years ago. And during that time, I was searching for the next big thing. I knew I was going to be in real estate. I didn't know how it would look until I met my next door neighbor who's sitting in this podcast right now, Karthik Singla. So we were next door neighbors. Crazy. Yeah.
That's crazy.
In passing, during the elevators, in the halls, we actually knew each other for about 3-4 years now. But at that time, a couple of years. And we started training together, working out together, and we became buddies. And when you spend that amount of time, exercising together, you learn about each other's hobbies, aspirations, goals, and what each other want to do. And we realized that we wanted to get to the next level. We didn't know what it was, but we were in transition at that time. I was transitioning out and into a new career, new projects, and so was Karthik. So I'm so glad to meet my business partner, Karthik. It's been a blast so far, and that's a little bit about myself. So it's a smooth transition into your intro, Karthik.
Yeah,
That's
thanks,
perfect.
man.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Karts,
Yeah.
tell us about this very organic relationship between the two of you.
No, well, wait,
Yeah.
first, tell me first, like, what's your favorite workout set?
Oh, me?
He loves doing, I tell you what, Jimmy loves doing back because he's a big posture guy. You see, he's like,
No,
That's what I
you
know
know
about
what?
him.
When I was single, my wife's in the other room. No back, no Mac, right? So you got to have a big back, right? Big back for a Big
No
Mac,
back,
right? But
no Mac.
it's different now. It's different now.
It's
I'm married with
different.
with, with a new baby, and I love it.
Oh
So
man,
it's
congratulations,
fantastic.
Awesome.
man, on that. Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, that's
Congratulations.
amazing,
Thank you,
amazing.
thank
You
you,
look
thank you.
fantastic for no sleep. You look fantastic.
Are you holding up?
Well, getting there, working
Go
it
for
out,
it, man.
figuring it
Go
out.
for it. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, Karthik,
Nice.
man. Sorry, I just want to know what's your favorite workout set. You seem
Thank
like a
you.
guy that like chess, but let's see how much you can take on your chest. Tell us a little bit about you, man.
Yeah, thank you. I do
Yeah.
like chess actually. You know what? And that's when I met Jimmy. He's like, "No, you're gonna go inwards. You gotta go, so you can't just do chest. You gotta those
Yes.
flies are really good, by the way.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
loves those. Yeah, so my journey kind of began also, I graduated as an engineer from University of Waterloo, mechanical
Yes.
engineering,
Mhm.
and I was lucky enough that I got a job basically to be a founder of an HVAC company, HVAC design company, that I ran for 12 years, and essentially we did residential and commercial
Mm.
build HVAC in residential commercial buildings, specifically heat pumps.
Yeah.
That gave me a lot of exposure into sustainable design, sustainable buildings. That's something that
Hmm.
I kind of always resonated with.
Yeah.
When I was in engineering school, my goal in life was to kind of combine management and engineering together. I just thought that there was a lot of opportunity, kind of, because Waterloo, you have very technical people, that
Hmm.
do very specific things. So I was like, I always wanted to combine engineering and business. That's where I thought, the most amount of money, and that's where my passion was. And that's kind of what I had an opportunity to do. So I have a lot of experience in building teams. Like I grew the business to, like multiple eight-figure revenue.
Wow.
And at peak we had 25 staff, and taught me everything I needed to know about, management, teams, profit and loss, financial statements, scaling a business, motivation, employee retention, HR issues,
Phew.
just and being a good leader, right? And being a leader in a way that you're creating a new market, you're creating a new, essentially a sales team that goes out and kind of creates that kind of revenue. So
Hmm.
gained a lot of experience on that side of things. And I saw the opportunity on the missing middle side of things. I was a minority shareholder in my previous company. Didn't really have a lot of control, very grateful for the opportunity that I had, but essentially investors were controlling, the business and consequently controlling my life a little bit.
Hmm. Hmm.
All good things. I learned a lot.
Wonderful.
And it was time to kind of, hang in my hat and transition into, what my next calling was, which is essentially building sustainable buildings, and I don't, with the team that we've built and the people that we have on our team, and the partners that I have and the community that we have, I feel like this is where I retire. This is my last
Hmm.
league that I play in, right? And it's a massive opportunity, right?
It's
Like,
great.
Jimmy and I kind of talk about the numbers.
Yeah.
Jimmy wasn't really in the construction world, right? But I'm sure initially when we started talking about how big some of these projects are, so like our smallest project would be a $6 million project, right? And we have 10 of them right now, and there's many, many more in the pipeline, right? So kind of the numbers and the scale in real estate can be pretty massive, or to kind of the missing middle can be pretty massive. So kind of wrapping your head around sort of, the size and the opportunity and stuff like that
Hmm.
is immense. This is my long way of saying, missing middle market is about a $50 billion market a year,
Hmm.
is what
Hmm.
we've recognized. And, I'm just so glad that I'm at a place right now in my career that, I get to sit with people like yourselves to have conversations to really move the needle, and kind of feels like we're first in line, right? Like we're
Wow.
kind of like the change makers and first in line and stuff like that. So really grateful for the opportunity, and grateful, for the
Well,
people
Karthik,
get to meet. Yeah.
I gotta say
Awesome.
this, and I always hear this. So I heard two things. One, it says like an entrepreneur always has much bigger ideas than a bank account, right? So that's probably true to most entrepreneurs, right? It seems like you're coming from that. You're reading from that same playbook as well, because I know. I mean, look at what you guys are doing here with Missing Middle Conference as well as SDG. And I mean, honestly, how did SDG come about? Like, why I'll give Jimmy a shot here. Jimmy, what was the birthplace of
Yeah,
SDG? What is
I can
SDG, by the way? Who are SDG? Who are these people?
SDG Sustainable Development Group. It's Karthik, myself, and Dave Knight. We're three partners who bring a lot of value to each other and work on our strengths.
As a result of our latest podcast with the 2025 Missing Middle Conference organizers, the Unpacked show has decided to give away one free ticket. The organizers were so excited for this offer that they decided to double it. That means Unpacked will be giving away 3 free tickets to the 2025 Missing Middle Conference on September 12th.
So grab your phones and scan that QR code. It will direct you to our official giveaway entry form. Fill in your full name and email address. That's it, and you're in the draw. Only 3 winners will be selected, but all participants in the draw will get a thank you email with a 10% unpacked discount code for the conference. So even if you don't win a free ticket, you'll still get an opportunity for a 10% discount.
We'll be announcing the winners live on Tuesday, September 9th at 8 p.m. All those that are registered will be notified in advance. This is your opportunity to be part of the 2025 Missing Middle Conference. We'll see you there.
And the key pivotal date for Kartik and I is when we first started was November 23rd, 2023, when we purchased our first property together. And
Wow.
those ideas came from our workouts. Those ideas came from being colleagues in the
By the
same
way,
building
Dave is
and
also a very
neighbors.
fit guy, right? Dave is a fit guy too.
Oh
He was
yeah.
working out with you guys as well.
Well, he's in a different league. That guy's in a different league. He's a first responder and he needs to stay on active duty shape.
That's
Right.
So
right.
He's
That's right.
next
yeah.
level. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to mess with that guy. So that was a pivotal moment when we purchased our first project together. And Kartik, he's very, very smart. He's a visionary.
Hmm.
He has high level
Good.
expertise in construction, and that's what he brings to the table. What I bring to the table is
Mhm.
operations, working with people and making sure things get done on time and under budget. And our fabulous third partner, Dave, he brings in the capital to help us make the right decisions and make the right acquisitions. So we all complement each other. And the big picture, like Kartik mentioned, is sustainability and giving back to the community and
Wow.
adding new units to the market. And we feel that's very, very important in terms of what we do with the projects. Not only that, but we do need to mention 10 to 15% of our units in our projects are affordable units,
Oh,
right?
nice.
And we choose to do that because we want to do that because of the story that we come from and the story that we want to create at Clapperton Village.
That's amazing. That's
Excellent.
amazing.
So tell us more about Clapperton Village and the project. What scale are you guys doing there? What's
Yeah.
going on?
I can tell you about Clapperton Village. I'm actually very passionate about this. So Clapperton Village, actually, the name comes from the street Clapperton. Okay, and quick story. We faced a lot of challenges in getting our first building approved. So I'll come back to that story as to why this is important. But I want to tell you what the story of Clapperton and where the name Clapperton Village comes from. So the name Clapperton Village actually comes from, Street Clapperton. And also this guy, his name is Hugh Clapperton. So he got enlisted to be a Marine at the age of 13 in Scotland, okay, in around the year 1800s or something like that, okay. And he actually fought in the War of 1812 against America, for Canada. And voyage became his passion, and he actually would bring in stuff from Africa into Barrie through Lake Simcoe to supply to Toronto and sort of
Hudson
the other
Bay.
area. No, no, the Lake Huron. No,
Lake
sorry,
Huron.
Lake Simcoe. No, no, Lake
The-
Simcoe. Sorry, Lake Simcoe is
Really?
Barrie. Yeah, so he would kind of get into Lake Simcoe
Oh,
and then
really?
bring stuff from Africa like
Wow.
spices and herbs and all that stuff, and then you bring them to Barrie, and then kind of distribute them to the rest of Ontario, especially Toronto, right? So,
Mm,
so he's, quintessential Canadian, sort of, our ancestor. And so he got really passionate about his voyages in Africa and was, going through Chad, through River Niger. And he wanted to kind of discover the end of River Niger. That was his passion. And then he, in one of his journeys, he kind of got pretty far and never came back. He died during one of his voyages. So, I think what Clapperton Village does is kind of celebrates his story of, voyage and taking a risk and kind of being Canadian and sort of, doing the right thing at the right time is
mhm,
what the development encapsulates, and that's why it's called Clapperton Village. So how that shows up in our design is, it shows up, number one is our vision for community, right? So essentially, like we'll talk about, kind of why this project is monumental for community building. It talks about, the conquest of sort of old ideas and sort of old way of doing things to kind of discovering new routes and new ways of doing things.
mm,
We capture it in our historic design. So we try to make the design as historic as possible, to kind of capture the character and the history of the city, and with very modern interiors because that's new beginnings, right? Every voyage is an opportunity for new beginnings, and so this is we've got very modern interiors to kind of really showcase that you can blend in sort of historic elements into modern ways of living sustainably. In our minds, this development is going to last 100 years, right? So we're
mm.
not building for now, we're building for what's going to live for the next 100 years. So yeah.
No,
What
that's
what's the
amazing.
what's the scale of that, Karthik? What's the what is like is it how many units? What's the scale?
Yeah, Jimmy, you want to?
Yeah. Hey, we have 10 projects and they're about 10 units each. So right now it's at 100 units. Neighbors, the great news about Clapperton Village, it's neighbors are starting to like us. Yeah, are
Oh,
starting to
perfect.
like us and are starting to knock on our doors and wanting to sell their property to us. And how it started from 1 to 10 is basically next door neighbors started to sell to us and we started to acquire on the street, and that's how one project became a village, literally.
Assembly. Nice.
Exactly,
Hmm,
exactly. And
hmm.
that this is just the beginning, right? We were actually talking to our property manager this morning, and we were prepping her like, hey, this is just the beginning with 100. Our neighbors are starting to sell. It could be 150, it could be 200 units within the next 2 to 3 years,
Mm, mm,
when we're doing things right. And we do have a model that we're creating right now that can be
mm.
replicated very, very easily to scale at the right moment. So,
Wow.
so this is just the beginning of Clapperton
Yeah.
Village.
And Jimmy, I
Oh,
was also hoping that you could talk about, maybe let them know about what the community and the amenities we have at Clapperton Village and how our design kind of facilitates that.
Yeah, so that's the history of Clapperton and what we currently have right now. For in terms of community, people want amenities. People want to feel like they're a part of a community slash neighborhood. It's always
mhm,
good to, drive down the street, you see your neighbor, you wave hi. Walk your dog, you see another dog, your dog is friends with that dog,
mhm.
right? And so
Any
so
dog
it's
parks in that community, in that
it,
village?
that's what we're trying to talk about, right?
Awesome,
So
awesome.
yeah, so we're creating. There's going to be a dog park. There's going to be obviously a gym, a gym, a
Good
yoga
life. Is that a good life,
studio.
Jim?
No, no, it's Clapperton Village, Clapperton Village.
That's
You
Clapperton
custom.
know,
Village Gym.
Custom.
Right. That's
yeah,
CVG. All right.
hot tub, steam rooms. There's going to be a cafe, and across from the cafe where the parents are, they can see their kids play in the play area. And there's going to be a barbecue area, so a lot of communal space. There's going to be Tesla chargers for smart cars. And these lots are big lots, so we have a lot of green space, a lot of amenity
Mm-hmm.
space,
That's
and
great.
they're all facing a communal space because these lots are right next to each other, right? So we're
Mm-hmm.
doing it in a way where people can come home, park their car, charge their car, walk into their house, let their dog out, and their kids are playing at the same time, and everybody's playing together. And that's what we want to create, a community where people feel like
Mm-hmm.
they're a part of the community and they don't want to leave. They want to invite their friends, family members,
Mm-hmm.
mothers, brothers, fathers to come and hang out in their space. And that's what is going to happen because we already feel it as we're building it.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. One of the things like you guys mentioned here is kind of weaved into this whole conversation. You guys are obviously good partners because you guys are good friends, right? Like you guys are, and this is obviously difficult. I heard a wise man said, I'm saying wise man, like if it's like this is from a book or something, but I actually heard someone said this. They say if you wanna build something great, one, without vision, people perish, right? Vision is important, but outside of vision, two equal components is like you have to organize people and you have to organize money. And it seems like you guys are crushing it on all fronts. You guys have a vision, you guys know how to organize people, and I would think with a development of 100 units, you guys know how to organize money, right? So, I mean, tell me a little bit. If someone were to follow you around for a day, Jimmy,
I love
what
it.
would
Hey,
they, what would surprise them about what it is you do?
well, hey, you know what? I'm so glad you asked, Ron, because that's what the owners are focused on right now.
Mhm.
Again, Karthik is the visionary, and he comes with all the great ideas, and I'm the operator, so I try to make it happen on all the steps along the way. And Dave, like you mentioned,
Mhm.
raises the capital so that
That's
we
right.
can fund these deals and do
Exactly.
it the right way. So if a camera followed us around, which is happening right now, because marketing and storytelling is the core, is the focus of where we
Congrats.
are as a business right now,
That's
which is
awesome.
the
100%.
beginning. They're following us around and they can see how real we are as owners and as a
Hmm.
business and how much we care. So for example, you'll walk into the site office and and you can feel that people, that our staff and our site supervisors actually look forward to seeing us come on site instead of, when they walk in, they're smiling genuinely, and
That's unusual, by the way, for a
they want
construction
to
site.
exactly, they want to give you props, not because they have to, but because they want to. And buying pizza on a Friday also helps as well in terms of the culture, right?
It's actually
um
good you're working on a Friday. Most people are off on a Friday, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, our culture is great because we care about our people. So
Mhm.
if you're watching our reels and you're following our stories, you can tell that we love being around the right people, because we selected those people to be a part of our culture, and our culture is because we care. So
Perfect.
that's what I want to say about
On
our
that
team
note,
and what we do.
Jimmy, why don't you guys do a quick drop on where they can follow you? Are you on Insta, LinkedIn? Where are you guys at? Tell us where we can
Yeah.
Yeah,
find you.
yeah, SDG Canada is our website. Every owner has their personal brands. I'm Jimmy Law Investor.
I'm healthy carts, healthy KARTS, and then an
Mhm.
underscore afterwards.
Yeah, Dave is Dave Nider. He's a police officer. You can't miss him. He's like everybody loves him, and
Awesome.
and then we're probably going to talk about the MMC, but the
Oh,
MMC.ca. We're
we're
going to
gonna
talk about that in a bit.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we're gonna
So
jump right into that. Unless Cart, you got something to add.
yeah, I was gonna say you asked the question about, what would Jimmy's day look like. So I'll tell you, we don't need to talk about my day because it's Jimmy's is way cooler. Okay, but Jimmy's probably up at 4:30 a.m. and made his shake by 5 a.m. and at the gym by 5:30.
That's right.
Finished
That's
his
my
workout
man, my
probably by
man.
7
Yeah,
a.m.
and I'm back by 7 because I have a solid hour with my 2.5-month-old son, Lincoln,
Jeez.
that
Awesome.
I get to really
Lincoln.
play with, right? Now he's, like I put him on the couch, he's starting to to hold himself up. He
Okay.
started
Ah,
to
Okay.
that's the
make
perfect age,
All
noises.
man.
right. Well,
I
once you
He's
like
can,
that.
getting bigger, stronger, louder, right?
Yeah,
It's amazing. Day to day, he's getting bigger. Wow, it's
yeah.
amazing. I love it.
And then sorry to cut you off, Jimmy. I was excited about your schedule. And then at 8 a.m., we're in our calls. We're and
Yeah.
we basically have, the different divisions in our company. So our construction division goes first, kind of gives us a daily update. Our marketing division goes next. Our conference updates happen next, and then our development updates happen, and then anything that owners kind of want to quickly talk about happens within, so all our teams almost every day kind of have direction on where everything needs to go and where, you know, at least so that we know like what's going on. And so I think that's been very helpful. And then after that, our calls start, and then Jimmy and I start heading to Barrie. So I drive to his place, and then from there we take we drive up an hour to Barrie, and we like to spend the day with our construction team. And really, things are, knock on wood, things are going so well. We have such great leaders that, essentially what Jimmy and I can now focus on is really just showing our story on the internet of how we're building and what we're building. And, I think it's kind of important, right? Because being able to tell our story allows other people to potentially, hopefully follow in our footsteps. And be able to do the things that we're doing, because yeah, none of this, we're just normal people. Like Jimmy and I just are so surprised that we have like even any level of notoriety at all, and we're just a couple
that's
guys
good.
that wanted to do development, right? And we get to share our story, and it's amazing how many people want to learn and kind
Resonate.
of follow,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah. No, people are hungry for this information. We were part of
Mm-hmm.
a group called Future Builds where I was a faculty member and Ron was a mentor there. And the appetite for this information is massive, right? So no, you guys are doing
Yeah.
the right thing.
No,
I think
absolutely.
the more and more people that learn about the missing middle, the big guys are pens down right now, right? You see what's happening with RioCan, you see what's happening with all the condo market.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-construction playbook is out the door. So the people filling the gap right now are small developers and entrepreneurs like yourselves. So that is why
100%.
this is so
Yeah.
important. Um,
100%. So sorry, just on that specific topic, a little passionate about that. So,
Jump in, man. Jump in. Tell me
yeah, it's
why.
so Jimmy and I are fortunate that we have a seat at the table exactly with some of the big developers that you're talking about. We have very close relationships with them. Um, and yeah, you're 100% right. It's pencils down, right? And they are so intrigued by the stuff
Middle.
that we're doing. I know we're going to talk about the Missing Middle Conference
Yeah.
afterwards, but many of them are coming to the Missing Middle Conference, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we get to talk about our community. And many of them are actually even in our WhatsApp community as well.
That's right.
And they're 100% intrigued. And it's funny, we were actually at Kyle Ford's podcast yesterday, and I'll say this again. This will tell you exactly why Jimmy and I are partners. Okay, this story right here. So to your point, right? The big guys have pencils down. So very small group of people, which is the missing middle developers, are actually building, you know, doing construction right now. And so if the construction starts are down by 70%, it's 30% of the people that are doing all the work.
Mm-hmm.
So if you become one of the bigger ones in that 30%, you all of a sudden become one of the biggest developers in
In
the
Toronto.
country,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what
It's
I
wild.
wanted to communicate. Was yesterday I was telling Kyle Ford that I was like, we're probably the biggest developer in Barrie, probably Ontario, and I wouldn't be surprised with some of the projects we have in the pipeline that we could be the biggest developer in Canada. Anyway, that's my
Fastest
visionary
growing
role, right? And
company
yeah,
2025.
it- but
Wait, listen.
Jimmy's the guy that makes it happen.
I
Right?
am in full support of missing middle organizations taking the reins and really changing the way how this housing is built. Because, to Marcel's point, we sit in a few rooms with high level conversations. And I'll tell you, like missing middle seems to be frowned upon by big developers. They're like, nah, this is too small. I don't want to be in the middle. I want to be at the top. But in order to make it to the top, you got to start somewhere in the middle. And there's a lot of people starting in the middle, but you guys are actually excelling at the middle. housing sort of strategy. And this is something that I can really appreciate, having been in this field for now, just servicing missing middle small scale developers for not going on 9 years now. I'm now starting to see a lot of ambition coming into this space essentially. And you guys are no stranger to doing ambitious stuff, right? Because I mean, you guys have planned, I mean, a conference that's actually going to is going to swing heads. People are going to turn around and say, like, what did I miss? Well, they'll find out that they missed the Missing Middle Conference 2025. Like, why don't you guys, I'll let anyone jump in. Just tell us what is Missing Middle and why.
I can go. Hey, you know what? We Kartik briefly touched on our WhatsApp community, and it started off with one of Kartik's viral posts on Reddit about development, and everybody started jumping in and say, "Hey, let's create a community." Sure, we started a WhatsApp group, and the first 20 people, and then it became 50, and it became 100, 200, now 300 plus of the right people, which are missing middle developers, whether it's one deal, two deals, three deals, or four deals and on.
What is
So
the name of the group? What is the name of the group you're referring to?
the missing middle group, it's a WhatsApp group. It's an invitation. Obviously, you guys are invited,
Yes, that's right.
VIP.
Oh,
Uh,
we're
but
we're we're
but
there, man. We're
We're
there.
oh,
already in
yo,
there.
yo, yo,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. That's right. There must be more than one
Yeah,
Ron
but I
and
want to know
more than
what's the
one
name because
Marcel.
I want our listeners to know they can join this
Only one
group,
Marcel.
provided they serve this
Yeah,
community or interested, enthusiastic about this
Yeah,
community.
let's
yeah.
let's let's
It's
give them a link. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a missing middle group on our WhatsApp, and we can provide the link afterwards and our QR
perfect.
code, and you
Wonderful.
guys can scan and join in. It's a group where everybody can jump in, as you know, jump in and say, "Hey, what's the zoning in Toronto? Can I put a sixplex or a six-story here?" And then a planner would jump in and answer it within like 5 seconds or 5 minutes, right? Or hey, I'm looking at a deal in Nova Scotia. How many units can I put on this lot? And somebody from Nova Scotia would jump in as well, right? So
Awesome.
that's and we do it because we needed help. We wanted to ask for help, but we didn't know what to do and who to turn to. And now that we created this group, people can turn to each other, and it's very, very rewarding to see people helping each other. So
Yeah.
it started off with that, and then we had quarterly meetups in Liberty Village. Just 40, 50 people would show up and have snacks and chit chat. Really no agenda. We did it because we wanted to meet other people and help, and everybody asked for more. So here we are, planning a
Wow.
missing middle conference on
Organic,
September the
organic.
12th at the Fairmont Royal York, downtown Toronto, during TIFF weekend, which is piggybacking the another big industry apartment conference on the Thursday, but we're on the Friday, so the timing is right. Um, Initially, it was 250 people in the room, but whereas sponsorships and ticket sales are going so well, we upgraded our room. The VIP room was upgraded, the general room was upgraded, and now we can seat at least 400 people in that room. So things are moving very quickly, very well. And Kartik can talk to you about the caliber of speakers that we have, the type of sponsorships that we have, and the people that are going to be in that room, and why we're doing it, because we do it because we care, and everybody is in that room as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Karthik, tell us like why is now the time to bring developers and investors together? Who's going to be there? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that so right now is the right time, 100%, to bring investors and developers together. This conference actually solves for two things. So the first, I would say, the most paramount things that actually solve. So could you scroll to a little bit farther up there to maybe Olivia Chow's? Okay, so there you go. So that second row there. Okay. I mean, and actually maybe go one row lower as well, so we can see kind of like the next set. Okay, so the caliber of people that we have here. So Olivia Chow, who's going to be speaking, Matthew LaBerge is the chief economist of CMHC, and for all intents and purposes, I would say he's one of the most influential and respected and most vocal figures at CMHC, pushing the housing agenda, basically, advocating for solving the problem that CMHC has been created to solve, which is the housing problem. So, being able to get him to come in and really speak on the direction CMHC is going, along with Olivia Chow. And if you scroll a little bit farther down, you will see, I mean, these are all private sector folks, but then, uh, and we've got a few more mayors here. So Alex Nuttall, yeah, right there. So Alex Nuttall, the deputy mayor of Brampton, Haskirt Singh, and then we also have the mayor of Newmarket and the mayor of Burlington, as you can see, we've got a lot of folks from the private sector side of things. Missing from this is actually the confirmation from the deputy federal housing secretary. I thought she was on here as well. But essentially the ear to the federal housing minister and their entire team, their media team and all that stuff we're working with, and the deputy has confirmed. She hasn't been updated here. So being able to get, obviously lots of people from the municipal level, being able to get lots of people from the federal level, also want to get folks from the provincial level, which we're kind of talking about. So the goal here is to get all three levels of government and CMHC in front of developers, people like us, talking about what is it that they're going to do to really address the housing shortage and the housing challenge. So we wanted to facilitate that first conversation. And the second is kind of what you pointed out, is to connect investors and developers together, because the biggest issue that developers face right now is capital, right?
sales.
And you know what? I'm going to go off on my Canadian rant here, but
Go for it. Go for it.
Go for it.
I've built a few companies, and I built a really good business in my previous business. I'm happy to say, I'm proud to say that I'm building a great business with my partners.
That's
And I
good.
can tell you that Canada has some of the most talented people. I've traveled all over the world. Lived in many different cities around the world, including the US. And there's nothing that US does that, in terms of people, quality of people, that US has that is better than Canada. Canada, we have exceptional talent. We have the smartest people and all that stuff. So there's no reason why we should be having the types of challenges. And the fundamental challenge that I see, which doesn't make sense to me, is you have high rates of unemployment and you have high housing shortage. Those two things should not happen at the same time. If you have a housing shortage, then you should not have unemployment, because you can just put all of these people to solve the housing crisis. So how is it that you've created a situation where you have both problems, right? So, and I think that's fundamentally what we're trying to address as well, is that let's build, because this problem of unemployment comes with a lot of massive amounts of downsides, right? It comes with people losing their careers, people going in debt, high rates of depression and suicide. And it just seems like an unnecessary thing for the two things to kind of coexist. So this conference basically comes at a time to really create that voice of, hey guys, let's address these real challenges, because that hence the private sector and the public sector integration with the right people. And then and as Jimmy was saying, is that another point that I kind of want to talk about, that Jimmy and I often talk about, is the number one thing that people need to understand as the rule of business. Okay, if there's one golden nugget, okay, of business that everyone, and they're going to say, okay, what is the one thing that makes a business successful? They're going to say, oh, it's a leader, it's the team, it's timing, right? Timing a business is everything, right? So that's why Facebook became Facebook, and MySpace did not become Facebook, right? That's why you get what I'm saying. Like, there were many different other
100%.
types
Yeah.
of social networks that existed, but Facebook was at the right place at the right time, right? So timing is very important, and so right and and I know you guys kind of started this conversation, and we started this conversation with a lot of accolades about, hey, you guys are doing amazing work and all that stuff, right? What Jimmy and I talk about is, hey, we just kind of did the right things at the right time, right? And the waves, the tides are carrying us forward. And right now is the perfect time.
Yeah, because missing middle was a thing, way back. It just wasn't called missing middle, didn't have any branding behind it, and policy hadn't caught up, right? So right now, the wave of policy has caught up to what's necessary, because we're in a crisis. right? So those that are, and also we've got shifts in the economy, interest rates, lots of tariff wars and trade wars and all that kind of stuff. So there's lots of noise happening. But I think this policy that's caught up finally with the shift in
That's
the economy is something to be had. Like I've picked up my pen. I sat on my hands for a bit, 2021, 2022, 2023. And I've picked up my pen again. So it's time to build.
That's right. Progressive policy making in the cities are actually driving. And this is something I'm recognizing as a business owner, running an architectural design business. After people buy properties, especially when it comes to missing middle, they need building permits. They need to understand what's the highest and best use. So we are actually like this is driven a lot by policy. When the councillors meet, right, on a monthly basis, I know they're breaking for summer, but once they return, and everybody knows June the 25th, July the 25th, they met. And basically, once those policies come into place, basically my phone starts ringing off like crazy. And what we saw in the last, and this is particularly in Toronto, but this is happening across Ontario, as we all know, right? What we have seen this lately is that Toronto is now adopting some very progressive policies. We're not going to get into all the details of that here, but again, we are seeing this across the board. And this is why now just a prime time for MMC, Missing Middle Conference 2025, because this is what's going to actually be a tool in, I would say, most municipalities' tool chest to actually support, to your point, Karthik, to support like like to support the housing crisis, but support people getting back to work because real estate construction is a huge economic driver, right? So the more people, the more we have missing middle housing that doesn't take 7 years to come online. It takes 6 months, 7 months. This is gonna get people back to work, right? So, and this is me going on a little rant here, but look, I get, build Canada homes and all these other fancy smancy stuff the government is doing. I'm just fearful that we're looking down the barrel of a COVID response, which is going to bring inflation back to the point where it's not going to be healthy. And then we end up in a cycle of interest rate wave that we like no one can manage. Let the developers, let the public, let the economy, the markets deal with the adjustment. And missing middle is going to be a great part of that going forward. So, I mean, you guys are doing great work here, man. I want to actually talk a little bit about some of the sessions. You guys have a robust schedule, right? I can pull it up and I can scroll through it. I want to know what was kind of the thought pattern behind maybe some of these schedule items, right? Let me take a look at it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Jimmy, I can probably kind of speak to that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think,
why the
sorry,
middle
go ahead.
matters.
Yeah.
Why the middle matters, policy to pavement. I love policy to pavement, but I think we've kind of talked about why the middle matters, right? I think we've got to that. Unless you want to add anything more to that, Carts.
Um, I think the sorry, just to kind of sum up the why the middle matters is essentially, it's the only thing that's delivering housing right now is the
Right.
missing middle. And it's a great investment opportunity for Canadians. So like if real estate has been a backbone of our economy. And as Canadians, we're very comfortable with real estate and it's a great investment. And you have a huge housing shortage, right? So
Yeah.
it fits all the right pieces. That's why,
Long
in my opinion.
long-term investment, not quick buck
Exactly.
artists here. Long term, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Oh,
Okay. All right.
absolutely. Yeah,
Want to make sure.
absolutely. This is a long-term investment, and it is, you know what? The reason why actually I brought that up is because if the Canadians are not going to talk with their dollars, then other
Yeah.
countries will,
Yeah.
right?
They will.
So Americans are coming in and buying up, using the MLI Select program and transferring billions of dollars of funds are going back to Blackstone because if us Canadians are not going to build, then Blackstone is going to build, right? And we see zero returns
Yeah.
from that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. No. No. Good point.
that's why
Good
we
point.
need to we need
The
that's why we need to speak with our
the
dollars,
the the
right?
silent. You're right, Carts. Like in my business, I see it. The silent money is flowing, right? And it's quiet right now.
The smart
And they're
money, the silent
and
money.
they're
Is it
just
smart or is it quiet? Or is it smart and quiet?
It's smart and quiet because it doesn't care, right? It doesn't need media, it doesn't need attention, and it's flowing right now
Mhm.
and it's buying, right? Cards
Yeah.
mentioned BlackRock, right? Most
Yeah.
people don't even know that, right? So
Oh
this
yeah.
is why it's important for Canadians. I'm a big proponent of joint ventures and investors and raising capital and LPs and all that stuff. Super important for Canadians to be investing in real estate as a result of our latest podcast with the 2025 Missing Middle Conference organizers. The Unpacked show has decided to give away one free ticket. The organizers were so excited for this offer that they decided to double it. That means Unpacked will be giving away 3 free tickets to the 2025 Missing Middle Conference on September 12th.
So grab your phones and scan that QR code. It will direct you to our official giveaway entry form. Fill in your full name and email address. That's it, and you're in the draw. Only 3 winners will be selected, but all participants in the draw will get a thank you email with a 10% unpacked discount code for the conference. So even if you don't win a free ticket, you'll still get an opportunity for a 10% discount.
We'll be announcing the winners live on Tuesday, September 9th at 8 p.m. All those that are registered will be notified in advance. This is your opportunity to be part of the 2025 Missing Middle Conference. We'll see you there. Term wealth vehicle while you're solving the housing crisis. This is a double-edged sword. It's perfect, right? Great timing.
It
Policy
is.
to pavement. Tell us about that. What are people going to hear? Why?
So this one is essentially we have all of the so what this list here missing? Oh, right, it has Darren Voros. So Darren Voros is critical to this discussion because he's a developer himself, and he has, I would almost call Darren Voros the OG. So he was building 10 plexes 2, 3 years ago. Okay. He's probably one of the first MLI select applications that they saw, okay, for a 10 plex. So Darren Voros has seen the ringer and the pain. So he's moderating. And the idea with this panel is from financing all the way to stabilization of essentially you renting out the building, that entire process is captured here, right? So Robert is the provides the opinion on the financing side. Adam Altabelli provides the opinion on the construction and construction management side of things, essentially building the building. Alicia Monteith provides value on the planning matters. I guess I'm on the panel too. So I probably I didn't even
Jeez,
realize. Okay, that's it.
Didn't realize I
What
was
is
there.
Karthik talking about?
Exactly. I don't
Didn't
know.
realize I was there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but and then Dan Fosh, kind of provides. A lot of people know who Dan Fosh is,
Yeah.
so he's going to go in and provide his opinion on sort of the real estate side of things, right? As to how people are responding to purpose-built rentals and how they're renting into the marketplace.
Well,
So
the
this is
policy piece of
basically
it.
this is kind of like cradle to grave of
Exactly.
development, and we try to capture that in 35 minutes, or sorry, 50 minutes. It's going to be challenging, but hoping that people get so much value out of that one because we have all of the heavy hitters in the industry, in my opinion, kind of talking about it in a very passionate manner. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't go wrong with, and this is, as you say, cradle to grave, where this is the full cycle here from policy, dealing with policy, planning, PPS, all of that good stuff. And I mean, here's the great part is that when we're talking about missing middle, we're oftentimes not talking about any type of ZBAs, OPAs, or MZOs, none of that stuff applies. But it's good for people to understand that the policies we're talking about is very progressive in nature. A lot of the red tapes have been kind of clipped already, and now it's just about making a decision to move forward, right? And as far as the pavement, I mean, it should be policy to payment to pavement, right? From a payment standpoint, what is CMHC doing here? What is CMHC doing there, Jimmy? Like I know I saw your LinkedIn profile. You are the
CMHC
CMHC
expert.
expert. I like it.
Yeah,
What
you know
is
what? You
CMHC
know
doing
what?
here?
And hey, and it's very important that CMHC is backing these projects because
Mhm.
uh, uh, whether the type of expertise you are, what level of developer you are, you always need funding. You
Mhm.
always need capital. You always need the deal to go through. So having the right team, having the right people on your side, like for example, Robert at CMLS, he's our broker. He brokers he gets our certificate of insurances. But prior to that, all the planning is required to have the right project that pencils up before we even apply for
Mhm.
a certificate with
Mhm.
CMHC, right? So
Mhm.
there are many layers to get a certificate of insurance, and hopefully we can capture that in that panel. But throughout the day, it's going to be mentioned many times to kind of understand what's involved and what's needed and who's involved in the process to get your COIs, and whether it's we're getting 95 fives, meaning we can really leverage our property so that we get the
50-year
maximum loan
50-year
sizes,
amortization, 50-year
50-year
amortization,
amortizations, full points on energy efficiency, 15 10 to 15% of
10
your
to
units
15%
are
affordable.
affordable,
Yeah.
and we're getting maximum 100 points with our MLI Select to
Wow.
get those maximum loan sizes. And that's what allows us to get the right projects into the market and as
Mhm.
quickly as
Mhm.
possible, but with the right way.
Well, I
We
gotta give
actually get
kudos to you guys,
125
though.
points, Jimmy.
I got to give kudos to you guys because, having worked and had in discussions with many clients from a design standpoint, like I am taking those things into account. I'm looking at the three pillars. I do know from an accessibility standpoint, it's very difficult to achieve, but most people are just voluntarily or choosing to step away from affordability. But you guys are not doing that at SDG.
No,
You guys are actually
no.
stepping into it. You guys are saying, like, look, we embrace this. This is one of our values. So why don't you talk a little bit about that and how that has an impact on your CMAC applications?
Yeah, Karthik, you mentioned we're actually getting 125 points. Can you dig into the reason why
What? You guys
we're
are making
doing
up
more
points?
than 100 points? We're not just going
Because
for the minimum?
Well, we because our units are actually 15%. So when you do 15%, you get 75 points, and we're getting 50 points for energy efficiency. So if you
Wow.
actually want to, yeah, if you look at the CMHC chart, if you're 15% or over, you actually get 75 points. So just the way we actually go target mostly 15% where we can. And so as a result, a lot of our builds actually get 75 points, and then we also get 50 points for energy efficiency. So,
Well, that's
um,
Yeah,
pretty
so we're we're
interesting.
we're
Yeah.
doing
yeah.
we're doing more affordable units than is required, which is the minimum. We don't need to do we're choosing not to do the minimum for affordable
You're going
units.
15% above the minimum target.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And then your
exactly.
energy efficiency is coming from what? Your
2x6
electrification?
walls. Yeah, 2x6 walls with bad insulation. I mean, it's just very standard. It's basically heat pumps, good tight envelope.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically heat pump, good tight envelope is essentially and don't make your windows too big, kind of
Yeah.
have a decent
Oh,
sized windows, and then no balconies
that's
and
Ashray,
avoid,
Ashray.
yeah,
Right. I
No
mean,
exactly.
no
look.
underground as well, right?
No underground. Yeah,
Yeah.
no
No.
basements. Everything
Love it.
slab on grade. So it's a very
Yeah.
simple building.
Simple build, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
this
then,
is this is great, like because and you said the key word there, a lot of people don't get it. But when you're talking about energy efficiency, obviously you're an HVAC engineer, so you know this. I myself have dabbled in between. I'm a lead AP myself, having been around that sort of conversations quite a bit. When we're talking about building envelopes, you can't talk heat pumps without envelopes, right? And a lot of people are just trying to dump heat pumps in there. And by the way, CMAC will accept those. Like it's like, okay, you're showing a reduction in energy use, but is the building, those heat pumps are not going to is not going to function as a forced air system, right? And
yeah,
it will be a situation where it's not controlled. But these are conversations that I'm having on the side with clients, just explaining to them like you got to look at whole building energy efficiency and how that functions as a system. So it's really good that you mentioned that, and I think people should take note. Yeah, that's really good.
absolutely. And
Mhm.
once you kind of you can take that a step further with Clapperton Village,
Mm.
because you
Okay.
take the whole building energy efficiency into account. You
Mm.
take the whole community as
Oh,
a
really?
community into
Yeah.
account, and then you also take the people's space and interaction. So one of the things that I
Mm.
personally am very
Hmm.
passionate about is our
Mm.
buildings are going to have the cleanest air and purest water. So we're working with
Mm.
LG right now to essentially come up with tracking VOCs in the air, as well as tracking
Wow.
any viruses like
Carbon. Yep.
COVID and all that stuff,
Oh, wow.
COVID viruses, so that people know that live in these buildings that it's going to be cleanest air. And then purest water, we're working with them again on a microplastic
Wow.
solution. So
Mm.
essentially something that will actually give you microplastic readings
Mhm.
of and just in general like your water readings. So we're working on a technology with them right now. So yeah, to your point, right, is you have to look at the building holistically, and that's kind of the thing is that you're living in this space that is extremely efficient, that is built for the future. You're interacting, you're engaging with it, you're yeah,
Built
that
for the
yeah,
future. Built for the future. Are we going to see robotics in there? Are we going to
Mhm.
see self-driving
yeah,
cars?
we
Is
are.
Clapperton a utopia? Like, is that what we're
Yeah,
looking at?
yeah. You know what? Why don't you tell Jimmy? Why don't you tell story of Dr. Corey, and I'll explain what he's going to
So,
do for
so
us. So,
this is
do you want to pull
actually in
that
our,
up?
yeah,
Yeah.
this is actually in our fourth panel. So our fourth panel is talking about the future of our building, right?
Okay. What's it
Yeah.
called? What's it
So,
called? What's the
to a
panel
fourth
called?
panel, it goes to, I think it's at around 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Okay.
There it is,
Innovating.
3:45. Innovating
Oh,
in the
innovating.
middle.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Innovating. Yeah. Yeah.
innovating in the middle. So this panel is one of our favorites because the people on this panel not only talk about energy efficient buildings, but they are the CEOs, they're the presidents of great companies that we use that we're working with in our buildings as well. And I want to highlight Dr. Cory Goldberg.
Well,
He's
I'm
one of my
glad that
good.
you highlighted. Sorry, I just want to jump in here and say,
Yeah.
like, both Marcel and I looked at this and was like, why is a surgeon?
Yeah. Why is
Yeah.
there a
Why
surgeon
is
Yeah.
on
there a
this
surgeon in missing
bill?
middle
I'll
conversation?
explain. I'll explain. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
for it.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah.
But yeah,
So
no, Jimmy, go ahead.
I thought he was an
yeah.
investor. That's why I was like, oh, maybe this guy's bringing in other surgeons.
Yes, he's a plastic surgeon, and
Yeah.
he's working with a company right now that's based out of Dubai and also coming into North America where they
Great.
have, for example, a smart mirror. So Kevin O'Leary was using it, and there's a little bit on a video as well where he's looking into the mirror. And what if you can look into the mirror and that mirror can tell your heart rate,
Hmm.
your blood pressure, your age, your skin tone, how you feel, if you're dehydrated or not,
Scary.
right? But
With
it can give you that
99%,
scan.
with
Exactly.
99% accuracy, like it can tell your heart rate variability and it can tell your blood pressure with 99% accuracy, such that a doctor on the other side can write a prescription based on it
Exactly.
by just you looking at a mirror. So essentially, it's the AI healthcare in buildings component
Hmm.
is what Dr. Corey is going to be talking about. And he's a leading
Hmm.
figure in Canada. And Jimmy, the story, what I wanted to tell you was that he's also your friend as well. And he's become a big advocate and a supporter for us. And, okay, so I guess I'll tell the story. So,
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
Go for it.
Yeah, all
yeah.
good.
Well,
Yeah,
Jimmy and
Karthik's
Corey,
super excited, so
That's
am I.
awesome.
Go ahead.
yeah. So Jimmy and Corey, Dr. Corey are good friends. His wife, who's on paternity leave, actually used to work for, still works technically for Dr. Corey. And and what he does is he is a board certified plastic surgeon, but his expertise is really on the health span side of things. So longevity, how to increase your life. He is a leading figure in the country talking about everything longevity related, of extending your life. He is the number one guy. He's your surgeon's surgeon. Okay, he's your doctor's doctor, and he's something very passionate about. And so he's got a few projects that he's doing in Dubai, and one of the things that we're working with him on is integrating some of these like longevity technology into buildings. So
Holy crap,
one
that's
of the
awesome.
things that we're incorporating is exactly, kind of what we talked about, this AI mirror. And this AI mirror, the idea is some people can opt in, and this data is automatically getting sent to a third party, like a Science and Humans and sort of these private healthcare providers like Cleveland Clinic, so
Wow.
that Canadians can opt in to have uh, private service, private healthcare by their data automatically getting collected by having these wearables and sensors. And he's going to speak to why that is important and some of the breakthroughs that are happening in that industry. So essentially, the idea is because these buildings are going to live for the next 100 years and healthcare is a massive crisis that
Wow.
exists in Canada, can we incorporate infrastructure into the buildings that allows people to take control of their healthcare privately
Mm.
rather than having to rely on the Ontario healthcare system
Wow.
through these mechanisms.
Interesting.
Well,
Where would the mirrors be, Karts? Like, is it like in the bathroom mirror, or like,
Yeah,
am I gonna
it's in the
get?
bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna look
well,
at me while I'm
Yeah.
naked.
oh man, like
Whatever you want to set,
whatever
and you
you
can
want
opt
to
in,
do.
right? See, the thing is, I'm wearing a Whoop, right? Your
Mhm.
phone is listening to everything that you're saying, right? It's going to be one of those things where people and AI are going to get integrated. It's
Oh
just
yeah, yeah,
it's
they're gonna
Yeah,
just
yeah,
what
be
it
hand
is.
in
absolutely.
hand, hand in
Absolutely. It's
hand.
already happening. It's already happening. It's out there. But I gotta say, like, this is so interesting. Like, you guys are interesting fellas for sure. And I actually seem to think like I'm weird when I talk about like not lifespan, but health span. So I'm really all into that whole movement, by the way, that whole biohacking stuff. So it's crazy to me to think like I'm actually trying to see how I can integrate as much of that into my home. For example, sauna, like compression therapy, ice plunge, like methylation test. Like you do a methylation test, could that be sent to a doctor? Does the doctor know what that is? And so forth. So I'm really into that hemp cell treatments, like stem cell
Live
treatment,
at
like
Clapperton Village.
like, yo,
We have a
I'm moving
sauna,
there,
we have a
man.
cold
Yo,
plunge, we
save
have
me a
a hot
unit.
tub, and we have a gym, we
Ron,
have
you're
a
moving
AI
to Barrie.
healthcare.
I'm
Yeah,
moving to
exactly.
Barrie.
It's right by the water. We have a
Awesome.
marina. We're also talking about a nurse coming every 6 months, collecting blood samples of folks that
That's
opt into
crazy.
the program, and then automatically again kind of gets prevention is better than cure, right? So these
That's
interventions of
awesome, man. That's
right,
awesome.
and imagine if your mother or your family, lives in one of
Mhm.
these units, and the AI mirror can detect potential cardiac arrest or other interventions prior to anything bad happening. I mean, that's kind of the idea, is to start building
Wow,
that
that's
infrastructure.
great.
And
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
great. That's
So,
like
but
so you know what you guys need to get an upgrade labs down there, right? I
Yeah.
don't think Barry has one. But anyway, this is fantastic, man. Like honestly, this would probably take this offline. I want to know what those units are going to sell or rent for. And I mean like this is actually is health like you're looking at people not just your welfare from a housing standpoint, but this is actually people like health, like being taken into account here.
well,
Yeah.
And does these features, and this is kind of slightly off topic, but does these features increase the actual market rents on these? Like, how are you guys pricing these in?
So, it's about doing the right thing, right? So we're gonna build it, and they'll come, right? So we're putting all the infrastructure in
Please,
there.
yeah.
And and so you're 100% right. And I know, Marcel, you've got a couple things you want to say on this as well. So you're 100% right that we're building all of this health infrastructure in, right? But then another important aspect to kind of layer on is community, right? The fact that, you are tracking all of this data, but then you can rely on your neighbor. They can watch your kids, right? You can go to the espresso bar and have a conversation with parents at the espresso bar while the kids are playing in the kids zone, right? There's barbecue sections where people can engage and interact, like little kids play area. So it's an all-encompassing health and wellness idea, which is not just isolated to health. It's really the community. I think it's the community that's going to be
mhm.
sort of the fundamental component that is going to like make people live longer and healthier and all that stuff. I think that's what's lacking right now.
That's
And
Mhm.
longer rents. Is the whole aim here to get
Mhm.
longer? Like people paying rents for long? Is
You know, you
what's
know,
going
I
on
think,
here?
I think,
Like,
I think, so we're actually talking about a very interesting strategy, but yeah, we have stumbled upon something very unique and something
that's
great.
right. Keep
And
them
at the
living.
end of the day, the market's going to pay what the market wants to pay.
That's
Our
right. That's
job as
right.
developers is to
That's
promote
awesome.
Right.
the development and tell the stories, right? But I do want to say this is that what I'm really passionate about is the affordable units that the people that are going to get the opportunity to live in the affordable units, it's going to change their lives, right? Because everybody else is paying market rents, above market rents, or whatever it is, right? But the affordable units, they're going to be paying 1,300, $1,400 a month and living a life. We want everybody to treat each other equals, and just because you have no, like that's not how the community is going to run, right? And so you're part of the community. But more importantly, these 12 or 13 families and folks that get to live in Clapperton Village, or 15 actually with 100 units that get to live at Clapperton Village, it's going to change their lives, right? Because
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
first time, they're going to be treated like normal people, right? They've always
Yeah.
been treated like outcasts and probably like have their whatever their health issues are, whatever it is that's holding them back in life, right? That's been the focus of who they are. And for the first time, hopefully, they get treated like normal people and it's going to change their lives. And that's what I'm very excited about. And
Yeah.
we're
No,
very excited about. Yeah.
and that's how real estate should be developed, right? It shouldn't be siloed, everyone, based on a certain income in one area, because that's just
Yeah.
not good design. That's just not good
Mhm.
planning.
Mhm.
It should be integrated into,
Yeah.
communities like this, right? So
The
I
missing
think
middle
that's the right
and
play. That's the right
Yeah.
direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
mainstream
Absolutely.
missing middle, mainstream missing middle. And this is why I can appreciate having been at the starting line with this whole missing middle thing. Honestly, when I started, you had to get a variance to put a garden suite on your property. In fact, a basement unit. Right? Like they're like, you can't do this here. Like there's a maximum size of like 40 square meters. It's like what, a
I
mouse
just
is
built
gonna live
them.
in there?
I
Right?
just graded them. I
You
didn't
know,
bother with
that's why so much illegal stuff was out there. Well, unlawful, I should say. And now
non-conforming, buddy.
non-conforming, right?
Non-conforming, right?
So
Fire
yeah,
rated,
that's
non-conforming.
listen. I'll put cuffs. This guy would be spending the rest of his life if you were actually put in prison for these in prison, right? But what I want to say here is that this is why I'm really a big believer in what it is you guys are doing. I think a lot of people are actually going to appreciate this because and we there's a lot of move from policymakers, some people that are actually building these, like yourself, SDG Group. You guys are actually pulling this together. This conference is going to be a real shift in people thinking about missing middle, right? Is this a one-off conference, or are we going to see more iterations of this on an ongoing basis?
More. This is the first annual
Mhm.
Missing Middle Conference.
First
And we've
annual.
been getting
Mhm.
so much great feedback from not only the people that are buying our tickets in the community, but also our sponsorships.
Mhm.
We got big sponsors like, for example, Amex,
Yeah,
Mitsubishi,
that's
LG,
good.
and they're all believing in what we're doing because we're doing the right thing. I mean, just so that you're aware, the budget for this conference is $250,000, right? It's a lot
Mm,
Mm.
yeah,
for this first
No
conference,
pocket change.
and
That's not pocket change, my friend.
yeah.
yeah, and we were able to, a lot of our sponsors, majority of the budget has been from the sponsors because they believe in what we're doing, and we're not doing this to sell tickets. We're
Mhm.
doing this to get everybody in the room to move the needle, like what we're seeing at the very beginning.
Beautiful.
Have the right levels of government in there with the right developers, with the right people, so that we can get clarity on what CMHC, what the industry needs, so that we can make the right decisions as developers, as
Mhm.
consultants
Mhm.
for our business, right? And this is just the beginning. We're getting a lot of feedback on these podcasts and on
That's
these
awesome.
stages, and the way we're promoting it on LinkedIn. Everybody's excited, looking forward to it. And there's been talks about a spring conference in the West, like Calgary area, but we're just starting those discussions right now. But this
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
definitely the first of many.
Wow. Well, Marcel, I know you also want to say some stuff here, but I just got to, I'm like, why didn't I think of this like in 2018? It's like, of course, like as to
Like
Karthik's point,
like
it was
timing,
not the right time. It's like,
timing.
would have been no
Yeah.
one would have showed up. I would have been the only person on that stage, right? But today, this is this is the movement. People are actually they're really interested in this particular thing. And honestly, I'm really glad that you kind of mentioned what is going to be the investment that you guys are making personally to spur on and to bring attention to this. And look, I didn't even need to know what the investment was. What I was more interested in, as I can see, is like who the speakers are and what this means, what this stands for. It's a stance, it's kind of like we're out the gates on a 50, quote unquote, like, maybe to be verified, $50 billion industry, and it's in diapers, right? So we are just getting started here. So to me, the ticket prices, and anyone can go online here and check these out, right? But the reality is, I think like there's a ton load of value here, right? And by the way, this is one of the best like sites I have personally seen that actually is just a really clean site. Who's your web designer, by the way? Gonna give him a shout out?
Yeah, we'll give our shout out. Matthew is our superstar event planner at ATM Squared. She's
Okay, cool.
fantastic.
Oh,
She's
wonderful.
a blessing. So she created all of this.
Wonderful. No, well, look, you guys actually, the website is nice and clean. You can't get lost in here. Again, the only reason why I'm doing this is because it's actually online, right? The mmc.ca. Anyone can go on there and look at it. Like that's where it is. That's where they can find to where the tickets are. I actually thought like this conference was overpriced. And should I say that? Maybe I should because I'm sure a lot of people are thinking that. But that's not the case here. This conference actually might be underpriced, right? Because there is so much value that they're getting from the people that are going to be in attendance. The network and the vision that is set forth here is going to really spur on $50 billion. Do you want to be part of it? That's where you join this room, right? And
Mhm.
that's why me personally, I'll be sitting up front in the VIP section, right? Because I want to be in VIP. I don't want to be sitting in the back seat. And by the way, look, everybody got their own choice. They can do that. But I think it's good. But I think we wanted to say this in full support, right, Marcel?
Yeah,
You
100%. 100%.
in full
Yeah.
support here.
Yeah.
There's the VIP tickets and there's the conference tickets. Because we believe in missing middle, we are both professionals in this space. We believe in this. We actually want to sponsor someone, right, to attend this conference. We're gonna actually be putting out some hopefully some content where we can actually show people how they can enter to win a conference ticket to MMC 2025, right? Because we believe in this. I want to say as much as you guys, but obviously we aren't putting $250,000 up front, but we're willing to certainly, for
$250.
$250, right? Because we want somebody else in that room, that may not be able to afford it, right? And we want to get people in that room, So again, the
Thank
price
Hey,
points, guys, is pretty awesome. Yeah,
Marcel,
yeah.
that's amazing. Love it so much. Love your support. Thanks for coming up with that. Karthik and I and Dave and the MMC team, we want to double that. We want to give you and your listeners an additional two free general admission tickets. Uh,
Ah.
do a
Wow.
contest however
Wow.
you want. Blow
Yeah.
the confetti.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we care about what you're doing to us, doing with this podcast and how you're sharing how important the missing middle is in general, the industry, and what
Yes,
we
yes.
what we need to be doing
That's awesome.
together. So that's a thank you from us to you and your listeners.
Awesome.
Oh, so
Awesome.
that means I don't have to buy a ticket. I'll just gift myself the ticket. It's like, yo, thank you
Exactly.
very much,
No
guys.
gaming.
Who
No
won?
gaming.
Exactly.
No gaming
That's
Yeah.
allowed.
funny.
That's
Yeah,
Amen.
awesome.
No.
I also wanted to talk to you about the difference between a general admission ticket and the
Mhm.
Yes.
VIP.
Yes, let's do that.
You
Yeah.
know,
I
hey,
was going to
hey,
ask if there was any last things about the conference you wanted to talk about. So
great.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, the journal admission ticket was everything that we talked about. Hey, I'm not trying to sell tickets right now. I'm just very, very passionate about the day. So everything we just talked about, it's gonna be in your general admission ticket, right? You're gonna get that. So the VIP ticket, the reason why it's a VIP ticket is not only because you're in front row, you have access, but you're gonna have access to a special luncheon that day. There's only 60 people in that room and 50 tickets are gone. So really this morning, as of this morning, there's only 10 tickets left where you're going to be able to sit in that room to have a plated lunch with all the speakers that day so that you can ask the right questions to the right people in that one room. And that's very, very special. There's going to be two special announcements actually in that VIP room, and
Mm.
we're going to be making a special announcement as well. So you want to be there. And I just wanted to share and highlight the difference between a VIP ticket and a conference ticket. But overall, you want to be in that room because you're going to have access to everybody else.
Yeah. And the announcement is like a big announcement, like an industry shifting announcement.
Mm.
If you can kind of huge hoping that massive financial changes are coming to the industry, and we want to be the first ones to announce it, some kind of a collaboration. So yeah, and let's just put it this way. we're also targeting a lot of LPs as well. So when I say targeting, like a third of the tickets are actually given to LPs. So basically, these are institutional investors, family offices,
Mhm.
and institutions like RBC, and essentially we want people to start talking with their money, and so a lot of those tickets, those kinds of people are also going to be in that room. And we want to make sure that when we're doing the announcements that they're listening, the politicians are listening. And that's only for like 10 to 15 minutes is that announcement. But the rest of the 45 minutes of us being in the VIP area is about people mingling, getting to know each other,
Mhm.
kind of you're on a table with 8 to 10 people,
Mhm.
and we want to strategically choose those 8 to 10 people and kind of form a stronger bond between them. And then also provide an opportunity for everybody that's kind of in the VIP area to kind of talk to each other. And like Jimmy was saying, you've got mayors, you've got LPs, you've got some of the most, I would say, look, I'm a visionary, so I'm going to say
Mhm.
some of the
Mhm.
most powerful people in the real estate
Mhm. Mhm.
industry are going to be there having the right kinds of conversations because everyone cares, right? This is so monumental and so important for Canada, right? Construction and real estate are the backbone of Canadian economy. Construction is what AI is to the US, you know what I mean? So like,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
so that's why, right? It is like if you look at sort
The
of
big
what the
industry.
biggest industry in
It's
Canada
one
is,
of one of our biggest industries. It's like the top
it,
10, top 10 for GDP. Yeah,
no,
construction.
no, 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 no. It's real estate is actually number one by far and large. It's like 14% of Canadian GDP goes
Mhm.
towards real estate, and construction is number five or number six, sorry. So when
Number
you
six. Yeah.
combine real
As a
estate and
whole, yeah.
and real estate includes like leasing, whatever, like renting and all that
Sure.
stuff kind
Yeah.
of falls
Yeah.
into real estate, and then construction is actual construction. When you actually
Construction is
add that
separate.
up,
Yeah. Yeah.
when you actually add that up, as a matter of fact, I will probably show you biggest. This is this is a huge, huge deal. Biggest industries in Canada. I'm just typing that out. It'll literally be one
No
uh,
worries.
by
Well, no,
GDP.
well, while you're searching that, I'll say, one of my main takeaways from actually meeting you guys now for the first time, I'm part of that group. There's a lot of conversations happening. Sometimes I can't follow all of it. But having met you guys, I realized that you guys are genuine community builders, right? I mean, apart from just simply building, Clapperton Village, an actual real estate. You guys are community builders. You guys actually really thrive on people connecting, right? That's one of the takeaways that I'm getting from this. But anyway, go right
Oh
ahead
yeah.
there,
Absolutely.
Karthik. Yeah.
So look at this. So 2024 GDP, um, if you look at that and look at that. So real estate and leasing, can you guys see the chart?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real estate and leasing is 13% of Canadian GDP. And then look at construction.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. The two of them combined. Yeah. By far. Yeah.
well, I mean, it's the biggest industries combined by far, like the
Yeah.
maximum impact. So when you have unemployment in construction, that means real estate isn't getting built, right? It's a huge cascading effect to the
Yeah.
rest
It's a
of the
massive hit
economy.
to the GDP. Yeah. Yeah. For
It's a
sure.
massive,
Yeah.
massive hit. So
Yeah.
that's why, that's why we're having, these politicians kind of take us seriously is because like,
Mhm.
that's the
Well,
impact.
but
So
you
that's
know
what I mean.
what? But to your point there, looking at that chart there, Karthik, is actually, I can see that that's 2024. 2025, we will see a lot of pullback because we know that there is no stats right now.
Exactly.
Right, so
Yeah.
2025, that'll be real. I don't know what it's gonna be. I'll be curious.
70% less. They're
Maybe,
already
right? It's
talking
gonna be
about that.
significant, right?
70%
Yeah.
less. Yeah.
Well, I think when you look at that, not to get too economic because we're gonna wrap this up here, but
Yeah.
I think that's the opportunity for those that are on the ground right now,
Mhm.
right? Where you can actually get in, you can buy stuff. The economic value, unit economic value is kind of back to where it should be, and it might even get better as we go, as we progress through the year. So I think what I'm saying from my purview is this is like perfect timing to get in. The fear is high, the greed is low. So this is when you want to
Perfect
be
buying
buying.
time. This is
This is the
when
buying
things
opportunity.
pencil.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's also you can look at it in two ways, right? One is sort of success in real estate when you're kind of at this level is, obviously you need to buy good deals and who you know, right? You have to have the right people and the right team kind of supporting you,
For sure.
right? And so not only if you act now, you're going to make more money, but you're also going to form the right connections
Yeah.
that are willing to talk to you, right? These people, like
They
Jimmy, you
wouldn't have
know the
been willing
rooms.
to during the
Yeah,
condo boom, is
Yeah,
what you're saying,
like
Karthik,
Jimmy,
right?
you
exactly.
know the
Yeah.
rooms that we're in,
Yeah.
right? Like we
Yeah.
literally were in a room where people are talking about billions of dollars that they need to deploy within like 3 or 4 months or whatever, right? And we wouldn't have been invited to those rooms
No, it
if
wouldn't be.
if like 3 4 years ago,
Yeah,
right?
even when I was building my portfolio, back way back, it was like you couldn't even talk in those rooms, right? Because you were too small. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
that's cute what you're doing, right?
yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, once again, comes down to that timing, right? We spoke about that, right? That
Yeah.
timing is so perfect. And that is why you should be at that Missing Middle conference in
That's right.
September. And
2025.
one more cherry on top.
throw
We
it,
want we
throw it. I
we
mean,
want
drop it.
for your listeners, we're dropping we're going to create a special discount code for you and your listeners
Okay.
for an
Oh wow.
additional
The
10
giving
percent
does
off.
not stop. The
10
giving does not.
10% off for any of the tickets you guys buy from now until the conference. So thank you
Mm,
so much for having us here because we just we're very grateful to share this message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to
Yep.
have the right people in the room is really what this is about, right? This
mhm,
isn't,
mhm.
as you saw with our community, right? We're very selective.
As a result of our latest podcast with the 2025 Missing Middle Conference organizers, the Unpacked show has decided to give away one free ticket. The organizers were so excited for this offer that they decided to double it. That means Unpacked will be giving away 3 free tickets to the 2025 Missing Middle Conference on September 12th.
So grab your phones and scan that QR code. It will direct you to our official giveaway entry form. Fill in your full name and email address. That's it, and you're in the draw. Only 3 winners will be selected, but all participants in the draw will get a thank you email with a 10% unpacked discount code for the conference. So even if you don't win a free ticket, you'll still get an opportunity for a 10% discount.
We'll be announcing the winners live on Tuesday, September 9th at 8 p.m. All those that are registered will be notified in advance. This is your opportunity to be part of the 2025 Missing Middle Conference. We'll see you there.
And you're right, we're selective in the sense that we want to have the right people kind of having the right conversations, right? This isn't about, making money from whatever, right? This is about if
Sure.
the right people are together and having the right conversation, good things are going to happen and
Yeah.
everybody's going to do well and
Everyone's going to win, right?
everyone's
There's
going to win.
there's more than
Oh,
enough capital to go around for your projects and my projects and everyone else's
Exactly.
projects, right? Like there's no scarcity here, right?
No,
well,
More than
no,
enough. Yeah.
Agreed.
exactly.
well,
Yeah,
I do have one final question for you guys, and maybe this doesn't apply today, but I'll ask it anyway, right? Because maybe there is not a hindsight as yet, because the conference is not here as yet, but I'll still ask it. In hindsight, do you guys think you could have done anything differently to make this even bigger and more appealing to more people in the missing middle space?
that's a great question. Jimmy, I want to hear your answer.
I mean, hey, the reason why, again, it goes back to the beginning. That's a great question. We've never been asked this question, but I like the question because I'm going to ask our team the question, same question. You know, if when you attend the Missing Middle Conference, whether it's us in this room or everybody else,
Mhm.
if you made one new connection, just
Mm.
one new connection, whether it's an architect, whether it's a lender, whether it's a new lawyer, whether it's
Mm.
a new LP, or a mayor in the city that you want to build in, that one new connection will change the trajectory of your business. It's going to springboard you to another stratosphere. And that's why we wanted to do this in the first place,
Yeah.
regardless of the ticket amount, regardless of the amount of people, regardless of who shows up. If you showed up and you made that one new connection for your business with that intention, things are going to change for you. So if I were to look back, I think I'd be happy that we threw a great conference, that everybody who attended met that one new person, at
Mm,
least one new person, to
mhm,
change the
mhm.
direction of their business. I'd be okay with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I think that's a great note to wrap this up. Jimmy, Karthik, Ronald, really appreciate your time, everyone's time here, the energy, the passion,
That's right.
involved with creating an event
These
like this
guys. These
is
guys.
is fantastic. We're looking forward to being there. We're looking forward to supporting what you guys are up to. Ronald, why don't you take us home on this one?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is episode 13 on Real Estate News Unpacked, where we break the news that the industry needs. And today we had Karthik, Singla, and Jimmy La on the podcast. These are the founders, one partner missing, of Sustainable Development Group and the host and organizers of Missing Middle Conference 2025. If you guys haven't heard it, please visit their website, themmc.ca, where you can purchase your VIP tickets or your conference tickets. But please give these guys the support. In fact, they are giving you the support because this is going to be just out of the stratosphere. I really think this is going to be very powerful. So you guys, please stay tuned. We will also be doing some giveaways. They just gave us some tickets that we'll be giving away. Stay tuned for that information, but also like and subscribe to our channel because we are looking forward to seeing you guys on our next recording. Thank you.
See ya.
See you guys.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. As a result of our latest podcast with the 2025 Missing Middle Conference organizers, the Unpacked show has decided to give away one free ticket. The organizers were so excited for this offer that they decided to double it. That means Unpacked will be giving away 3 free tickets to the 2025 Missing Middle Conference on September 12th.
So grab your phones and scan that QR code. It will direct you to our official giveaway entry form. Fill in your full name and email address. That's it, and you're in the draw. Only 3 winners will be selected, but all participants in the draw will get a thank you email with a 10% unpacked discount code for the conference. So even if you don't win a free ticket, you'll still get an opportunity for a 10% discount.
We'll be announcing the winners live on Tuesday, September 9th at 8 p.m. All those that are registered will be notified in advance. This is your opportunity to be part of the 2025 Missing Middle Conference. We'll see you there.